in my own hometown. Stranger.
Howdy folks, Little John, and it's time for 5 on Friday, on Thursday. Yep, it's only Thursday, due to a little bit of mucking around this week. Going to take the wife to Canberra tomorrow for some checkups and follow-ups from her cancer to make sure everything's all good. So I've swung my days around this week, and it was meant to happen today and it changed, so I'd already taken the day off work, so here we are. Today's my Friday, so got the Jim Beam Devil's Cut, a bit of a slurp on that, and today's topic has been thrown up, comments from last week's video. I did ask for a few suggestions and things for things to chat about, and I've got quite a few suggestions, and I've stuck them on a list, and I'll address them over the coming weeks. But the one I want to address today come from a fellow named Stafford Fairhead, who tells me he's up in the Pilbara. So he's out in the bloody middle of Whoop Whoop, and he's asking me, you know, how do I go with grain storage? You know, his specific question was, you know, he wanted to get into all grain brewing. Obviously, he's not really convenient to a home brew shop out where he is. So he wants to buy himself a 25 kilo bag of grain in bulk, and he's just interested how long it's going to last him. Now, grain storage and how long it lasts is an issue that every brewer, or every all grain brewer particularly, or any brewer that's using grains, even if it's a partial or, you know, mini mashes, everybody has to deal with. How do I store it? How do I keep it fresh? How long does it last for? Now, with the grain, obviously you've got two options when you're buying your grain. You can buy it unmilled in its whole form, or you can buy it already milled from your brew shop. Now, that will dictate a lot on your method of storage and how long it's going to last for as well. And how you go buying that grain can also be dictated a bit by how much you're using, and, you know, how often you're going for it, and economics, and, you know, are you only buying enough grain for one brewer to go? Do you want to buy in bulk and, you know, try and save a bit of money? But at the end of the day, if you're buying your grain in bulk, buy it unmilled. Okay, does mean you have to go out and buy a grain mill, and the reality is grain mills have gotten, you know, fairly cheap in the last sort of 12 months or so. I know when I bought my grain, currently got a Corona mill, which has probably been seen quite a while back on a video. I don't normally do video of myself milling grain. It's not a particularly exciting thing to watch. I bought mine, and I think I paid like $70 for a Corona mill. You can pick them up now for about $40. At the time, a good basic two-roller mill was setting you back around $170, $180. You can pick them up now for $120 delivered with a hopper. And for not much more, you can get a baseboard you can attach them to. All you need to sit them on a drum and attach the drill, and away you go. And it's one thing I sort of keep thinking I should buy, and I haven't got around to. But anyway, so if you're willing to spend the money on the mill, and you're getting yourself that whole grain in sacks, then you've got a much larger window in which you can use it. That grain's going to stay relatively fresh for quite a while. what we're after in making beer is inside the grain. It's not the outside of the grain. So it doesn't really matter what happens to the outside. As long as it's intact, the inside's going to stay fairly good. Temperature variances with temperature and stuff where you're storing is going to have an effect on it. But for the most part, you're going to get anywhere from 12 to 18, even 24 months out of that grain, where you're still going to make decent quality beer with it, without any real great difference. Obviously, pushing towards the end of that, you're going to start to notice it. And again, if you're not having major temperature extremes. But I buy my grain in bulk, and a 25 kilo bag of base grain will last me around 12 months. Now, I can't say I've particularly noticed that beer at the end of the 12 months is adversely or badly affected as compared to the beer I'm making at the start. So, and I go through an extreme weather changes. I go, through sub-zero temperatures through winter to, pushing into the high 30s and low 40s on a regular basis during summer. So I'm quite happy to say you get 12 months with no problem out of that grain. How do you store it? Well, I just use, just a big, tub, big storage tub. It's not airtight. I've got like 50, 52 litre tubs, and they don't quite hold the full bag. But normally by the time you take your first brew out of them, and maybe put some into a separate bucket, it fits in. You can go to the extreme. You can get yourself try and get an airtight bucket. I don't think it's particularly easy to get airtight at that sort of size without spending, good money, and that's not what you really want to be doing. A 15, 20 litre tub, and you're away. I've currently got 3 because I've bought 2 base grains at the moment for the upcoming stuff. Just want a little bit more flexibility, and my local brew shop shut, so having easy access to grains become just a little bit more difficult. So I've bought 2 bags at the one time, and I've now got a bag of cracked corn for other adventures. So I've now got 3 containers. They stack onto one, and it's relatively tidy out of the way. My specialty grains I've been buying locally, and they're milled when they turn up. So they're a little bit different now. So if you are buying your grain and you're getting it in milled because you don't have a mill or it's just the way it comes, then you need to be a little bit more careful. If it's milled, you do want to keep it airtight, because obviously the sugars, the inside of the grain is exposed to air, so you need to keep that sealed. So airtight. I use vacuum seal to seal the bag of the grain when I've finished using it. To make sure that, try to make it last as long as it can. And that sort of bag, I really wouldn't want to push a bag of milled grain, beyond 3 months. I have pushed some of it longer, especially some of the darker malts in darker beers where the flavours aren't quite so delicate, and you've got a little bit more room to play with your extremes. But ideally, you'd want to be using those grains inside of 3 months. And there are a lot of opinions that you should be using them in 3 or 4 weeks. So I don't know how necessary. If the grain has been stored in an airtight bag when you've got it, I don't think there's, and you can keep it airtight, I think you've got a little bit of length of time there. But you don't want to keep it for a real long period. I certainly wouldn't want to be using a base malt that's been sitting around for 6 months already cracked, which is why I buy my base unmilled and just buy the specialties. I buy half a kilo to go. That will change a little bit now again with the local brew shop changing. I'm going to have to buy my stuff in a little bit more, so I will I have the option of getting it unmilled, so I'll be able to do that again, where the local brew shop, their specialties come in ready milled. So that's going to change a little bit. So storage, it's an important factor, and obviously, you need to keep the grain in a place where it's not exposed to, getting it eaten by, rats and mice. I get mice through the garage here, particularly now, this time of year coming into spring, we tend to get a bit of an explosion of mice, and just as an example, I was just part of cleaning up today. I pulled an old tarp out, it was out the back, and I dragged it through the front to throw it in the trailer to take it to the tip, and as I dragged it through the brew cave here, 2 mice have jumped out of it and disappeared. So you need to keep it. You need to keep your grain sort of protected from that, and those bins are enough as long as they can't get to it. Don't just leave your bags just sitting around, even full bags. It's awfully tempting for mice. They love grain. So yeah, we've got to have it. You just need to be a little bit, just take care of it a little bit, but you don't need to be too full and too crazy. So stuff it, mate. Buy your 25 kilo bag, stack it away, mill it as you need it. With no problem at all. Take advantage of buying in bulk and getting some postage discounts. I mean, I'd hate to imagine what sort of postage you're paying out there in the Pilbara. It's bad enough here, and I'm certainly not anywhere near as remote as you would be out there. But the storage, it doesn't matter whether you're in the middle of Sydney or Melbourne, or you're just out in the bush a bit, or if you're right out in the sticks. It's not a difficult thing to do. You just need to spend a little bit of dollars to get some equipment to look after it and have it there ready to go. And of course, the beauty of having it there ready to go is you can brew anytime you want. You can make it, spur of the moment decision you want to brew, you're ready to go. You haven't got to go run into the brew shop and buy stuff. Or, wait, I can't get to the brew shop till Saturday or next Monday. Or, I've got to order it in. It's there ready to go. So, Stafford, mate, I hope that's answered your question, and I hope that's thrown a little bit of light on for anybody else. Is questioning how to look after their stuff. So, as always, if you've got any further questions or comments, any people have different ways of storing things, you want to throw a comment at the bottom, go for your life. If you haven't subscribed already, you want a bit more, you want to keep seeing some videos on brewing and bought a little bits and pieces go along with it, and some tips and tricks and stuff, hit the subscribe button down there in the bottom. If you're already subscribed, well done. Glad you're coming along for the ride. But until next time, that's me for today. Going to be a bit quiet for the next couple of weeks, I think. I am going to get another video this afternoon. I'm going to do a taste test on the wedding porter, on the imperial porter. Stuck a bottle in the fridge last night. I want to have just a sneaky taste on that before dishing out all the bottles to the wedding guests next week. So that'll pop up later tonight. I'll do that a bit later on this afternoon after I've done a few more things. So that's it. That's Little John for today. So until I see you again, we're talking beer, we're drinking beer, or we're brewing beer. Good brewing.